In this video, we're discussing, are you for or against the enhanced games and should boxing be included? If you're not familiar with the enhanced games, there's this man who wants to start a sports league where you can compete juice to the gills. Doesn't care. It's acceptable. It's allowed. I'm going to play you a video of this man speaking about the enhanced games, and you'll hear what he has to say.
Cat's out of the bag. This has started.
It's the controversial sporting competition where drug cheats aren't only allowed, they're the stars.
This is Nobel Prize winning science. He didn't just break a world record, he broke the most important record in swimming.
Today, we stopped watching the clock and we start rewinding it. Today, we don't just launch a sporting event, we launch the next era of human evolution.
If the Olympics no longer are the ultimate avenue of human competition, it means that the enhanced games are.
Doping Olympics, as it's been dubbed, aims to rival professional athletics, but with a twist. You can basically take whatever you like.
Drugs allow athletes to run faster and jump higher and swim faster.
The World Anti-Doping Agency have come down very hard on you. In breach of criminal laws, a catastrophic influence on the next generation. There is no rules or values.
If you created the Olympics today in the modern world, it would not look like anything it is now. You would not create an undemocratic, unaccountable, bloated, corrupt system that benefits bureaucrats, not athletes. So far in human history, there have been 9 ages. What is the next age of mankind?
So my man wants to create the enhanced games, which would be like the Olympics, but you're allowed to dope. And if you think this is a joke, they've signed, I guess, really their first high-profile athlete. I don't know how many of you are familiar with track and field, but Fred Curley, who is a track star, has signed with the enhanced games. Now, this is a YouTuber, a TikToker, whatever you want to call him, and he made this video. We'll take a look at some of it. He breaks down Fred Curley. Actually, I think he's a track star as well. I'm not sure, though, but anyway, he's talking about Fred Curley signing with the enhanced games. Let's take a listen.
Yo, Fred Curley has signed with enhanced game. What is happening? What is happening? What is happening? If you didn't know, Enhanced Games is a new league. They're taking the best athletes and they're allowing them to take whatever drugs. It's literally science-enhanced track and field games, and they're trying to get people to break the world record using scientifically backed research and drugs. It's actually crazy because Enhanced Games just filed an $800 million lawsuit against WADA, World Aquatics, and World Swimming because we got a message as athletes. If you any way negotiate or talk or connect yourself with Enhanced Games, you can be liable for suspension because you cannot be networking with companies and organizations that push using banned substances in their competitions. So that's why Enhanced Games filed a lawsuit, an antitrust lawsuit against all these other companies. Another crazy thing is Fred just got suspended for drug testing, right? And his lawyers and his people came out and was like, "Oh, we're gonna appeal this." I want to say right now, I've never.
We'll stop it there. But as you heard, Complex, the enhanced games, you can take anything you want and compete. And VADA, USADA, all the doping agencies have given warning to athletes. If you negotiate with them, if you participate with them, you can be suspended. So Enhanced Games is suing, signed Fred Curley. So it got me thinking, would you want to see boxing's version of the Enhanced Games?
Oh my God. You ever watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze? From back in the 90s. Yeah. I used to have the tape, right? The old VHS tape. Yes. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #2. Great film, by the way. I think the best one out of all 3 back in the day, and one of the best 90s films of all time, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Had Vanilla Ice in it, Ninja rap, okay? I want to see the ooze. I want somebody to get that ooze from that movie, right? The teenage from the Turtles to Mutant Ninja Turtles. I want to see that ooze, right? And let's see what can happen. What can we do here, right? Let's go crazy. Let's just pump people full of whatever testosterone, human growth hormone, Trinidad, whatever these stuff is, right? All this stuff. Let's just say F it. Let's just go crazy here, right? I'm not mad at the enhanced games, right? Because the only issue with it, right, is that okay, when guys are cheating, guys are not cheating, it blurs the lines because we don't know what is the standard, right? If you are somebody who supposedly is the best in the world, but you're the best because you took this extra element versus this guy didn't, then it's hard for us to say. But we're saying, fine, let's just split them. People who don't and people who do, right? And then so we know people who do, this is that side, and people who don't is that side, right? And we have things like that in society. Even I just was randomly on the other night going through a random YouTube wormhole looking at the top bench press, and there's like one guy has the best bench press in the world is at about 700 something pounds, almost 800 pounds, but that's called raw, right? Which means that no extra gear or nothing, right? He just, I think, some wrist wraps and a waist belt, but it's from the bar to his chest and down up, 700, almost 800 pounds. Then there's these special shirts that I guess, I don't know, that in the major bench pressing world, which can give you an even greater advantage. And there's a guy there who did like 1,400 pounds, which is insane, right? Bench it, but with the help of that shirt. So there's 2 world records, right? The raw world record, or what they call, which is means, and I think a lot of weightlifting, like no additional support, right? No special things or whatever, that just that, or with the special things or whatever, right? There's 2 world records. If you want the raw one, that's this guy. If you want the enhanced, whatever, the with gear, extra gear stuff, it's this guy. I'm not mad at that. In terms of boxing, the only reason why I say no, I'd pause there, is because you could take whatever steroid you want to make your muscles bigger, to make you run faster, to make your lungs operate better. There's nothing that can protect your brain, though, right? Force hitting your brain is, unless there's some special steroid for that, right, which can protect you, make you give more durability. At the end of the day, your body is still flesh and bone. Your brain is still encased in your skull. And when it gets rocked and it gets knocked against your skull, right, it gets injured. It's one thing to race another guy. It's one thing to jump higher, longer, faster than another guy, whatever. It's another thing to punch another man and to rattle his brain. I don't agree with that. I think it's too dangerous, and I don't want to see somebody die in the ring. We've seen deaths happen in boxing, especially, too many times, and it's not something that we want to give a greater chance of that happening to. Everything else, fair game. As long as it's not a combat sport, I don't care. If everything else, literally, I do not care. Long jump, sure. Let's see it. How can somebody jump to the moon? Maybe, right? If we give them the right gear, right? If we give them the right steroids and stuff. So I'm okay with the enhanced games. Fred Curley is insane because he's a legitimate racing world champion, right? Like, he didn't win the Olympics, but he competed in the last Olympics. But he's also a legitimate world champion in racing. That's like Bud Crawford now, or whoever, like the best in the world, saying, you know what, I've proven I'm the best. I've proven I'm the best, or the heavyweight champion. Let's say you.
No, because he's not the champion. Like, he's more on a level of like
a title holder. You're saying basically.
He's like a number one contender taken. It'd be like a number one contender.
It's still okay, but no, but he didn't win the Olympics, but he won the world championships. So the Olympics obviously is a greater accomplishment, but the world championships happen every year, and for that year he was the world champion.
What year? Because recently I know Noah Lyles in the Olympics, Noah won the 100. 200 was won by Tobogo.
The dude from Botswana.
And then recently in the world championships, Oblique Seville won. Kashane Thompson came in number 2 in the 100. 200, Noah Lyles won.
Noah won the 200.
Yeah, in the worlds.
You're the world champion.
But I feel like he's been on the decline. They're guys he can't beat.
Oh, okay, I get what you mean. He's not that level anymore.
He can't beat Oblique.
Right. But what I'm saying is somebody who won, even it was only a couple of years ago, because it was before this last Olympics. He won like in 2022 or 2023, which is still a couple of years ago, right? But he still won before the last Olympics. He was the reigning world champion. So It's like somebody who, at like a couple of years ago, was the man, like Anthony Joshua, right? Was the champion, right? Was the man. He's lost now. Maybe he can't hang at that level anymore. But him to now go and be like, well, now I'm going to go in, but I'm going to take all this extra stuff, right? I'm going to go and do all this extra stuff. Like, you were the man, right? But now you're not anymore. And now you're going to be just like, fuck it. I'm going to go take some bullshit, right? And
That's
and
hard
now
for people to take sometimes. Not being a man. It's hard.
yeah. But anyways, what do you think?
They're racing the clock, though. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's racing the clock.
Right.
If he's not hitting these times, psychologically, he's probably just like, you know what? If I just enhance and I go and I run the fastest time, I'm the fastest man in the world. Like,
You're the fastest enhanced man in the world. Yes, absolutely. You are. You got that.
Hey,
to be honest,
what he's telling himself, that man.
Right. I mean, what do you think? Is it okay? Would you watch those games?
You want my honest opinion? I would say I believe a high percentage of these athletes dope. You know, I always say the saying of the Lil Wayne line, be good or be good at it. I think a lot of them are good at beating the regimen, and they all look for it. If you look at Balco, for example, one of the greatest performances in Olympic history was Marion Jones, and she would have gotten away with it had Victor Conti not been busted. And so many other athletes would have gotten away with it if Victor Conti wasn't busted. I think of history. How many people got away with it? Remember Ben Johnson, the Canadian sprinter?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that dude was built like that dude. He had like no fat. That man was just gone. And then there was Carl Lewis.
Yep.
And people say that allegedly Carl Lewis test positive, and those tests went away. There's even the record. There are people who question the actual sprinting record with FloJo.
Right.
Believe that FloJo, because she started off in track, then she took some time off, then she came back and she was better than ever, and her physique was different. And people are like, man, what happened? How did she go from what she was to that and being able to run these record-breaking times? And so the record is even in question with FloJo, and that's because I'm going to something. This is my personal opinion. I have no evidence to support this. I believe that time, like 80s, late 90s, was the prime of the doping era. I don't believe the testing was there I believe it was the prime. So, you know how people talk about heavyweight boxing was better back in the golden era of boxing, the golden era of this. Like, I think of the athletes we saw during that time, like Bo Jackson, Herschel Walker, Ben Johnson, FloJo.
The 80s were a wild time.
Type of athletes that we don't see anymore.
Yeah.
And the only thing, like Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, how great was that? I remember I wasn't even like a huge baseball fan like that. Like, I like baseball, don't get me wrong. I go to the game and watch. I played Little League, but like, I mean, I was checking every day. Who's in the league? Oh, McGwire hit too. Oh, Sosa hit. It was just like these dudes like Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds sat back and said, they cheating. And you know what? If I took it, I'd win every record. Oh, message. Bang. Like, so I say all that to say, like, look, I think the enhanced games is just giving people the opportunity to see what they want, which is entertainment. I think a lot of these guys cheat already. They're all looking for some type of advantage within the rules. But if you create a league where you're like, hey, just so you know, everybody's on anything, doing whatever. If you sign up for this, it is what it is. Then to me, that takes away. Remember, we had this discussion back on Boxing Bros, and I said, I'm okay with people fighting as long as if they agree to it, knowing what each other's taking. I don't care. If that's what they want to do, they're two consenting adults. So if say, for example, fighter A says, I'm going to fight you. Here are the substances I'm going to be taking. And fighter B says, I'm going to fight you. Here are the substances I'm going to be taking. And as long as they know going into the fight and the record shows, the blood testing shows that, then, hey, who are we to say anything about it? Like that's how I feel. personally, because they're going to cheat anyway. To me, the problem
right.
is cheating someone who's clean, thinking that you're going to be clean too.
Right.
That's where the issue comes in. But if
Right.
they go in knowing that they're all enhanced, then what's the problem? Like, I don't have a problem with it.
No, I think so. A couple things. I think you're right. You took the point. I was waiting for you to go, but I wanted to see the exact same thing. They're all cheating already. There's so much cheating that we don't even know about. There's stuff that like they could have something in a vial that can make you like literally fly. Maybe we don't even know about it, right? Because like there's probably so many scientists working on things but because the testing and whatever they draw them and make it seem like everything's on the up and up. But all these guys are cheating, and they know how to get past the regulators. They know what to do. They have things that the regulators don't even know about yet. So they could be taking something full on. Regulators don't know because they don't know the test for it, right? So there was also that Russian scandal. The Russians had like an entire operating system of doping where like they had scientists. It was like state sponsored, right? It was incredible. Then you also had in cycling, Lance Armstrong. He was like, we were all cheating. We're all doing it. I remember they had to go back when they finally went back and like busted all the drug cheats. They had to go back to like number 15 in the world to say who was actually the champion, right? The clean champion. There were so many guys that they had to go back that far to say, okay, this is the actual champion of the Tour de France this year, right? Of that year, because all these guys have been caught drug cheating, so they're all stripped. So you have to go back that far. Daniel Cormier is an MMA fighter, wrestled in the Olympics, and he recently had a video where I saw like when he was talking about like, when he took 4th place at the Olympics, right? But they started going back and looking at the drug cheats, and they went back and like guys who were cheating were either won the gold or the silver or the bronze. They were being stripped, but like it was years after he had already finished, and they didn't go back to his year. They stopped at like he wrestled like 04 Athens, and I think they stopped at 2005, like whatever for some reason, like in terms of the years that they were going back and checking. So it just goes to show like it's been happening since forever in terms of like guys cheating, getting away with it, and just not getting caught or getting caught years later, right? So I agree. Let's just have it out in the open. Just say F it, right? I mean, because now we can fully just let loose, right? And we don't have to hide it. You don't have to whatever. I still say with the boxing thing, I don't want to, because you got to protect people from themselves. It's like if 2 people agree that we're going to have a duel, right? If they're going to both have, a 9mm, they can line up and take 10 paces and turn and shoot. Is it fair? Sure, they're both technically on the same level playing field, but still, we're going to stop them from doing it because it's dangerous, and it's just because 2 men agree to something doesn't mean we should allow it, right? As a society, or else things would just be insane. I think in fight sports, the risk of damage is too high. If 2 guys running against each other, that's fine. 2 guys, whatever. Honestly, even you could say with the steroids, because we have seen some people take steroids and it ends up hurting their bodies later on. So there is something like maybe we should protect people from themselves from that. But that's self-inflicted on you. If you decide what you want to do, fine. But in terms of 2 men hitting each other, I think it's a little too dangerous. I don't want to see somebody KO'd in the ring, their head literally knocked off their body because the Hulk hit them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see that.
Getting into assumption of risk now with me. Assumption of risk is, every day we assume the risk. You get in a car, you assume the risk. You get on an airplane, you assume the risk. You go ride a roller coaster, you assume the risk. You assume the risk that something bad could happen, something life-threatening can happen. You play basketball, you assume the risk. I've seen videos of basketball players who go into cardiac arrest on the basketball court and die. You look at DeMar Hamlin, the football player. It wasn't a concussion that almost killed him. He went to cardiac arrest on the football field, and they had to. So anything can happen in everyday life. You can die of water poisoning if you drink enough water. Like life is a delicate thing, man. And the one thing about life is, you play it too safe, you lose. You take too much risk, you lose. Right? In the end, like. It is going to be what it's going to be. It's not my job to tell people how to live their life. My thing is you got to figure out what makes life worthwhile to you. You got to figure out what works for you. You got to figure out what you take pride in. And if you want to be a fighter, be a fighter. Like, I went in the gym, I trained, but at a certain point I decided, you know what? I'd rather earn money using my brain than being hit and being punched. So those are things that you have to decide on your own. And as you see, we lost Complex. We'll see if he signs back in. But for me, when it comes to this, I just think of people like if you go into your local gym, you all know you see that person who you know is on the juice. You know they're enhanced and they're taking it just to look good in the gym, just to walk around on the beach or whatever. If that's what matters to them, that's what matters to them. For me, the way I see things is, it's all about what matters to you, what you care about, and that's the way it is. So like I don't sit around and judge or whatever. If they want to compete in the enhanced games, let them compete in the enhanced games. When it comes to boxing, there's an assumption of risk that comes with it already. My major concern is someone who's enhanced fighting someone who is clean and natural. That's where the problem lies. And that to me is where the biggest danger lies. But two fighters going into a fight, knowing that they're both on banned substances, to me, I'm okay with it. That's my take on it. Complex wanted me to let you know that his computer died, and that's why he dropped off the screen. But we want to thank you for rocking with us. Please let us know what you think. Are you in favor of the enhanced games? Would you want to see boxing added to the enhanced games? And remember, when you like the video, it helps get the channel out. It helps get the video out. So please hit the like button. If you dislike the video, put a thumbs down emoji in the comment section. Put a thumbs up emoji in the comment section. All the engagement helps. Thank you for rocking with us. You have a great Sunday. And if you're listening to this after Sunday, have a great day. For those listening on the podcast will be updated soon. And just a brief message about the podcast. The name of the podcast will change soon to Corner to Corner. But for right now, it remains Cadence Kerfuffle, just so that people can know that it's active again. All right, I'm out. Peace.